So, since yesterday's show, we learned more details about the impasse between the Mets and Pete Alonso that has turned into what looks like a divorce. Joel Sherman reporting on the money. Last ditch offer from the Mets looked like around 3 years, 68 to 3 years, 70 mil. In that range with opt outs, they pointed to similarities, yet better numbers in terms of money compared to Christian Walker's 3 year, $60 million deal. Walker's going to be 34 this season while Pete is 30. They're very different players, but the Mets were like, yo, Todd Father, they said to Pete, your offer to us, not comfortable with it, not in our range, don't feel like we have competition that's going to beat what you're talking about and what we're sending. So we need an answer, or we're going to sign Jesse Winker. We're going to go after Tanner Scott and other relievers and spend money elsewhere. And we'll do what Scott Braun's been saying for a year, move Mark Vientos from third base to first base. So your thoughts on where we're at here, because it looks like Pete's going to Toronto, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. I'll be honest with you. And again, I have nothing to do with it, but the way this is all unfolding, and like I said before, I've said to you guys before, I don't think this is a done deal. I think people are playing hard to get. If you want the truth, I don't think it's divorce. If we're talking about relationship ways, I think it's still, one side's playing hard to get than the other. I think the Mets still want him. I think it would be sad if he's not a Met. I know he definitely wants to go back. It's one of those things where one thing we do know, Scott and Erik, and I think you agree with me on this, he's not getting the money that he wants. That's one thing that might be definite. And now thinking about that, if there is another team like Toronto, they're not going to, maybe if it's around the $70 million range, maybe they go 80. I mean, it's not that big of a jump. So it's like, is the opt-outs that important? Yeah, it might be. Is money important? It always is. But to hear this, this is something that, can turn somebody off as a fan. You think about a Steve Cohen, that guy that does anything to get his ball players. So what's the main thing holding back? If it is the opt-outs, then, we have a problem. But other than that, I don't think this is done deal, And what we're hearing, these are reliable sources. Don't get me wrong. They're writing the thing. But at the same time, in the back of most people's minds, in a GM or a president or an agent, I think they're still going to have ongoing dialogue. And say the Rangers, the Blue Jays, they do go back to, and they're like, all right, boom, they're definitely going to go back to the Mets and be like, hey, last chance, or let's talk something out. So I don't think it's fully done. I think this is a sad way of where it's going about it. If I was a Mets fan, I'd be a little upset.
I mean, it slides in perfectly for the Jays to be like, hey, we'll give you 4 years, 85 to 88, and you're getting that 22 a year that I think is what the Mets' original offer was, but you're getting it for another year, and they probably cooked in some type of opt-out. We're doing a lot of probably maybes, but the other thing that I think the Mets have to understand here, yes, Scott Braun's idea of moving Vientos to first base. Now you have a guy that's never played first base. While people say it's super easy, you see how hard Pete has worked at it and the level that his defense has improved to. You're just going to automatically go ahead and say, all right, that's fine. Like, we'll just put somebody new there. And also, if you're comparing him to Christian Walker, age, gold gloves, production, all that aside, you don't have Christian Walker. He's not on your team. It's not like you can say, well, Christian Walker didn't get that much, so we don't want to give you that much. You don't have him on the team. You have an opportunity to sign a guy for whatever Pete offered for his 3 years is what he wanted. Obviously, they're at an impasse and they're not agreeing, but you can have him, and he's a dude that's hit 50 homers in seasons. Like, he's not potential 50 homers. He can, and he has, and he probably will hit 50 homers again.
Yeah, but they've set their mark, right? They put their stake in the ground and said, this is where they're going. Fans still criminally underrate Vientos too, according to Mike, and DDT saying Vientos play first. I agree. Guys, I'm going to disagree on the Vientos side. I think he's a good fielder. I think he's a better fit at first base, and that's why they've been looking at that with Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, and Luis Angel Acuna all bidding for time at third base. Those are 3 nice young players. Yo, I'm with you guys. I love Pete to death. I think he's perfect in New York. I think they're better with him. but they've set their ground. And David Stearns operates very differently, Todd Father. I do disagree with both of you on what the offer could look like for Toronto, because Pete got the offer 7 years, 158 for the extension in June of 23. That was including last year where he got 20.5 mil. So he's looking to beat 6 years or match 6 years, about 138 mil. And I do think that the Blue Jays will get him a 100 number. You guys are saying like 4 years, 80, no freaking way. I think he's going to get like potentially 5 years, 110, something like that from the Blue Jays, and feel like he got pretty close to that offer from the Mets a year and a half ago.
And I wanted to go back with what you said about Vientos. Listen, this is his first year, dog. Last year was his first big year. I want to see a couple years of him dominating. Everybody thinks he's the all be all end all kind of guy. Listen, I hope so, and I think he can be, and I think he has a chance to. This 1 year he came out and dominated. I love that, and I'm not saying he's not going to, but I want to see this at a consistent level. This is big year number 2 coming up, and we all know what that black book says once you get your name in there as well. But again, he could be a good fit over there. I did the same thing. I played third when Scott Rowland got hurt. Then I was going to get moved down. Then Votto got hurt. I played first base. It's a hard position. Even if you come up as a first baseman, you still don't master it. I think of some good ones. Like Anthony Rizzo was really good at it. There's been some really good first basemen, but positioning-wise, there's a lot of things that go into it. You're in every single play. Third base, you just got to wait for that ball to come. First base, you're waiting for the ball to come. You got to be in the right position. You got to be in a spot to get to first base on time. What kind of runner's running? Do I need to shift over because he's faster? Do I need to play on the line? All these different things. You got a bigger glove. Playing with a bigger glove, there's a lot of integral parts in the game. Some people don't like playing with a bigger glove. So, again, at the end of the day, and I'll leave it at this, Vientos, really good ball player, but I want to see it for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I sit there and I go, are the Mets going to be able to replace? I think Andrew F. brought that up in the chat. He said, are the Mets going to be able to replace 30 to 40 homers? That's tough. Mark Vientos was on the team last year and hit 27. It's not like Mark Vientos is going to be like, I'll take the 35 plus my 27 from last year, and I'll give you a little 62 for you guys this year. You know, it's going to be tough to replace that, especially at the price that they should be able to pay Pete. If Pete came to them with a 3-year deal, I'm worried about their offense. It's still really good offense, but to me, I had it penned in. I didn't even have it penciled in. And I don't disagree with your contract, Scotty, if this was November 22nd. But now we're in January. It may be less. It may not get the $100 million, which would so surprise me if Pete doesn't get to $100 million.
Scotty,
Okay, we'll see.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Are they a World Series championship caliber team without Pete Alonso?
Yes, they could be.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I'm not arguing. I just wanted to hear.
Another move?
Yeah, they're going to do more. They need more bullpen.
I'm talking right now.
Right now, I think they need a big reliever. I think their bullpen was really short in the playoffs last year. I'm with you guys. I'm on Pete. I mean, they think that Mark Vientos is him. They think he's the next guy. So they're going to put him at first and see what happens. They do have really good position player prospects. Maybe I'm more into prospects than you guys are, but I'm just presenting what the team is offering right now. They're saying, hey, we feel like we've got it. So we'll see.